astronaut Mwambeli. Such a pleasure to meet you.
Welcome, Dr. B.
Tell me a little bit about your childhood. How did you know or think about becoming an astronaut?
I did a book report when I was in 6th grade on Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman in space, a cosmonaut. From then on, I always wanted to be an astronaut, and I just started looking into it more, begging my parents to send me to space camp, which they eventually did. Eventually got to go see a shuttle launch, and here I am now.
You were selected to be part of the 2017 astronaut class.
Yes.
How many classes of astronauts do they have? Is it an every year thing or do they skip years?
It's just based on when do we need more astronauts. Right now, it's been about every 4 years.
10,000 people applied for the 2017 class?
We did. I think it was over 18,000 people who applied.
Almost 20,000 people. That is incredible. Okay, well, congratulations again on
Thank
making
you.
it. So now you're here, go through astronaut training for about 2 years.
Yes.
What was it like to go through that training?
The main portions we focused on were learning how to do spacewalks right here in the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, learning about the International Space Station and all the systems on board, learning how to fly T-38 jets, learning how to fly the robotic arms, and then learning Russian as well. It's an international space station. As an astronaut, your crew, you're responsible for the maintenance, you're responsible for medical, you're responsible for the science. And so you have to learn a little bit of everything, and I think that was what was most surprising to me. So one of the most physical things we do in training is here in the Neutral Buoyancy Lab. When you watch astronauts doing a spacewalk, it looks almost effortless. I thought watching them, oh, this is gonna be easy. You're just in a suit, but you're operating like normal. But it's not. Every single thing you do, every time you squeeze your hands, you're doing it against pressure because that suit is pressurized to keep you alive in the vacuum of space. You've got these big gloves on, these bulky gloves, and you're trying to sometimes do these detailed tasks. You're pressurized, so every single motion is challenging and is fatiguing on your forearm. And you walk with your hands instead of your feet, and so everything's a little bit different. In terms of the psychological, that's extremely important, and I think one of the most important things that we really look for when we're selecting astronauts. The missions we're doing now, they're long duration missions, and they're only gonna get longer as we start talking about setting up a base camp on the surface of the moon and going on to Mars. And so when you have a crew of a handful of people working together, stuck together for that long, that needs to be effective, needs to handle this extreme environment, it's really important how well you work together as a team. One of the parts of training I actually really loved is we do expeditionary training. We go out and put ourselves in difficult situations. For example, Nemo underwater in an extreme environment, you have to be working together to survive. We do NOLS training, the outdoor leadership school, where your decisions have real consequences. If you choose to go the wrong way or do something you shouldn't, you could end up in a bad situation. And we did at times, but we worked through that together. And so it's putting ourselves in real situations where our decisions have consequences and learning to work together.
Here we are at one of the training facilities for NASA astronauts. So first of all, where are we? What is this? And what happens here?
The Neutral Buoyancy Lab is one of the coolest facilities I think we have for training. There's over 6 million gallons of water. It's 40 feet deep, and there is a life-size mock-up of the International Space Station. So it actually tries to simulate that weightless environment of space. Something we've just recently added here on the other side of the pool is a lunar training environment where we simulate 1/6G moon environment. So that's something we've started doing in preparation for our Artemis missions to the lunar surface. Not only for training, but also to test the suits that we're working with, test the tools that we're gonna use on the surface.
So how many people does it take to put on this Neutral Buoyancy Lab?
It takes a lot of people. We have safety divers with each astronaut at all times, making sure they're safe and okay. We have utility divers that are bringing the different tools they need to use. They need to make sure it's accurately representing what you're gonna see in space. We have technical directors and test coordinators who are giving you the procedures and making sure everything's being done safely. People working your comm systems, people wearing your temperature control, make sure you're not too hot, too cold. A lot goes into this training here.
I love that you shared that. There are hundreds, if not thousands of occupations that get together to put you all up in space, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
How cool is the Artemis project to you? What does it mean?
Nothing was more incredible than what we did during Apollo. It was an amazing feat at a time where we had a lot less technology and The power of computers were a lot less. But what I really like about Artemis is it is not just a single mission or single program and that's it. It is setting us up for future space exploration. It's setting us up to go on further to Mars. And it's setting us up to do that in a way where we're all going. And I think that's something that's really.
So we're looking forward to Artemis, but in the meantime, you've been selected to be the commander of the NASA SpaceX Crew 7 mission to ISS. That's really cool. What is that mission about, and what will you be doing?
Yeah, so I'll be the commander aboard Crew 7. It'll be a crew of 4 of us on a SpaceX Crew Dragon to the International Space Station, where we'll do a long-duration mission, probably on the order of about 6 months, doing science experiments, not just on different materials, but also on our own bodies and how we react to space so that we can prepare ourselves to go on further in the solar system. The International Space Station has had humans on board it for over 20 years now, continuously, and so I think that's incredible. Not only are they conducting the research, but them and the people on the ground are making sure we have the life support systems to keep that environment so humans can live on it. We're maintaining it. That's why we have to train in here. So when something breaks, we can send people outside the space station to fix it. When the toilet breaks, we're the plumbers. When someone gets sick, we're the one that take care of them. So you have to not only do the science, but you have to do everything that goes into creating a living environment in the vacuum of space.
Folks, astronauts are brilliant people. They're traveling in space. They know physics, they know all kinds of aviation, all this cool stuff, but they can also fix your toilet.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.